Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today we're talking about the box office for the summer and specifically for 2019 compared to the box office in the year 2018, which is actually kind of interesting when you think about it because everyone's talking, of course, about, Avengers Endgame. Is it going to pass Avatar? Is it not going to pass Avatar? I mean, I've been talking about it myself. Is it going to reach $3 billion or not? Obviously, at this point, it's no way it's going to reach $3 billion, but there is still an outside chance. Again, I think it's a lot less likely now since the re-release effort seems to pretty much have failed in a lot of different ways. I think it seems very unlikely that the chance is going to be nearly as high as it was beforehand. However, there is still an outside chance that it could potentially pass up or even match that of Avatar. But even then, when you adjust for inflation, Avatar still whoops its candy ass. But all that being said, the overall box office for not only the summer but also for the entire year is actually down. And this is again coming from Variety.com. And you see that it says very clearly here that the overall year at this point, according to ComScore, is that we are 10% lower than we were in 2018 when it comes to the box office. So therefore, even with the close to $3 billion opening, the over $1 billion of Captain Marvel, though, all the millions upon millions of dollars that are being made by the Marvel films, the MCU films, all the other movies that are coming out, all the generic films, all of the, big budget films that aren't actually a major franchise, they are not doing nearly as well. They are not performing nearly as well. In fact, independent films are really suffering, especially when you look at the overall box office, because people are less likely to go to the theater now unless they have an investment in the actual franchise going forward. I mean, the reason why Avengers Endgame did as well as it did, even Captain Marvel did as well as it is, because people have invested over 10 years of their life into that franchise. And the movie theater as it was 10 years ago, and I would say even just the box office as it was 10 years ago is nowhere near where it was or where it is now. I mean, Netflix was not a major commodity back at that time. Again, it was not the major force that it is now. Netflix was still very much in the DVD and just starting the Blu-ray game at that point in time too, since Blu-rays came out in 2006 as an official medium. So when you look to that and you understand that just a few years after the Blu-ray was released by, and got picked up by Netflix to be released as a part of their subscription service, you then also had the first of the Marvel films coming out before Disney took it over. And so when you understand that, when you understand the history of that, it makes sense as to why those films that are attached to that universe are still doing very well, but other films really aren't doing very well. I mean, go ahead and look to Dumbo. Dumbo is a live-action, remake, reboot film that did barely anything at the box office. I mean, if it made anything, it made just, peanuts, for lack of a better term, all puns intended. But then you look to films like Aladdin, and it's getting close to and probably will pass the $900 million mark. And so you're kind of in this back and forth, this kind of haphazard box office where no one really knows at this point, or no one can really predict what films are going to make money and what films aren't going to make money. I mean, just go ahead and look to these three films that are listed up here. I don't know why Late Night is in the same conversation as Men in Black International and Godzilla, seeing that you have two huge big budget films that were, pretty much destined to do extremely well at the box office. At least that's what a lot of us thought was going to happen. And on the left-hand side, you've got Late Night, which even the people who would actually go out of their way to defend this film aren't defending the movie because it is terribly written and it's just not a good film. I haven't wasted my time with it because it just looks awful. When I found out, it's written by Mindy Kaling. Oh wait, the same woman that was a part of the entire fiasco with The Wrinkle in Time and was the one that was speaking out against, about racism, and that's the reason why I wasn't doing very well. Oh yeah, sure. Okay, Mindy Kaling, go ahead. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm glad that your movie didn't do anything and glad your movie didn't make any money in the box office. But Godzilla also really didn't, succeed as much as many people thought it was going to. Again, it made some money, and they've already got Godzilla versus King Kong set for 2020, though more and more I think about it, I think that they're more likely to push that one down the line, maybe to 2021, because I don't really think that it's going to be a necessary guaranteed box office success, because just because you might not have a major Marvel release coming out in the summer, even though we know that Marvel, Disney has pretty much taken the corner of the entire box office market. When you look at the films that are making the most money in any given year, they tend to be Disney films. Disney tends to have, out of the top 5 films domestically and internationally, they tend to usually be a Disney-run product, which I think is very interesting to look at, but also kind of makes you start to think about, should we start to think about antitrust laws and stuff? Obviously, that's getting into an entirely different discussion. But you look to these two films. Men in Black International is going to be one of the biggest flops of the year. I would say that Godzilla has a very passionate fan base, and so there are people that are going to go out of their way to support it on, the post-release, on the Blu-ray, 4K, etc. People are going to go out of their way to support that, and so I think that it's going to end up making back its money, at least, somewhat over that way. And obviously, it hasn't done terrible at the box office compared to Men in Black International, which is a complete box office flop at this point. So you have that film, but you also have X-Men Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is another big box office bomb, and both of those films really show you the big box office mindset of a reboot, franchise, etc., but they don't really understand what the fans actually want. And the reason why is because fans fans and movie audiences in general need to have a reason, need to be actually motivated. Like when you see Men in Black International, do you think, oh my God, I'm going to actually leave my house, leave my Netflix, my Hulu, my pretty soon Disney Plus, and all these other subscription services? I'm going to leave all those behind, the comfort of my home, being able to pause the movie whenever I want, to go to the bathroom, to get food, not have to worry about other people ruining my experience by spending way too much for a movie ticket, especially if it's a Prime movie ticket experience. Why would they want to leave that in order to go to a theater? Unless they're someone like me, unless they're a movie nerd like me who loves the movie theater going experience, who loves to be able to go, like if there was a showing in a 35mm format of a old school film, I would be the one that would go to see it because I'm a huge film nerd. So I obviously am one of those persons, but there's not a lot of us out there. There's not a lot of us that are actually going to go out to the theaters. And even I myself am starting to fall into the Fire Stick world that we live in today. When you have VPNs, you've got all these other things going on, and it kind of gives you motivation to start to say, you know what, maybe I won't go and support this film. Maybe I won't go. I mean, I'm glad that I didn't pay for Men in Black International. I'm glad that I did go see Godzilla, even though I do have my issues with it because the human story, which is 75% of the movie, sucks, and I still have Godzilla fans coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, but the Godzilla films are never meant to be about that. Okay, well then, why was 75% of the movie about humans and not about Godzilla? And also, I'm very glad that I never wasted any money whatsoever on Late Night because, good Lord, that movie just looks terrible. But when you start to look at these films, you start to look at the trend, the fact that we're 10% down, even with these major box office movies doing better than what was expected in many situations, you start to understand, okay, the box office is failing. Why is it failing? The reason why, and I've mentioned it before on this channel, on my secondary channel, is because Hollywood is out of original ideas. They're out of original ideas, so they're putting all of this money behind reboots and reimaginings. You already have the Little Mermaid casting being another way. Oh, we're reimagining it. Oh, it's set in the Caribbean, and so therefore it's going to make sense this way. And it's just like, no, just stop. Stop making crap films. Stop using crap concepts. Stop doing crap reboots, spin-offs, whatever, and give us good original content. The fact that, as I mentioned before, Disney is one of the biggest box office earners, and yet they've got only 2 original movies coming out over the next 5 years. They've got 2, and both of those are animated coming out of Pixar, which is the only real major part of the Disney world that is creating anything new and original anymore. And most of the time when you look at their stuff, it's usually based off of other previous material, and it's usually, kind of taking a story and then revamping it a little bit. So there's really even less creativity when you really step down to it. So what do we need? What is something that would fix the box office going forward? Well, obviously, you have to look and see the box office movie theaters themselves. You have to look at the movie theaters because movie theaters, they could do some things to make some people come back. For example, offering more of those matinee type ticket prices. AMC is very good at that. They're very good at offering that $5 ticket depending on where you live. Now, of course, there's some areas like New York, for example, where because of high taxes, they're just not going to be able to offer tickets that low. But they'll still be able to offer some type of lower ticket price than normal and obviously have very few and far between movies available at those time slots, but at least it's something. And I really think that that could be one way that they could bring people back. But also, too, you see a lot of these theater chains starting to kind of innovate where they're saying, oh, now you can reserve your seat. So now you can see, oh, there's these many people already, an hour out of the movie, there's these spaces that are available. Oh, I don't want to sit next to anybody, so I'm going to pick this place right here where there's no one sitting next to me. And if anyone chooses that seat, at least I know there's going to be plenty of open seats so I can move if I need to. So you have that going for you. And also you have the people that, the theaters that deliver food to you and, all these other things. But at the end of the day, the things that could fix it are better original ideas coming out of Hollywood and them actually putting money behind it. I think that could be a huge indication of that. But also, too, I think the movie theater chains themselves could actually go out of their way to try and provide the best experience possible. Again, as someone who used to work at an AMC, as someone who used to work for a large chain, a large movie corporation chain, I can tell you that we get so many complaints about people talking in the theater and people on their phones, but the problem is that we cannot, and these companies seemingly, at least according to them, cannot afford to have someone in a theater at any given time keeping constant watch. And even if they do, they go up to somebody and say, all right, you got to leave. How often are they likely to be like, oh, well, I don't want to leave, or, oh, no, it's my right to be here, etc. So then you start to get in this whole, again, legal battle because it could be a lot of legal consequences from these actions of, kicking somebody out of the theater. And so it really kind of brings you into the situation of, man, the movie theater business is indeed dying. And I've mentioned this several times before. In the next 10 to 20 years, there will not really be any movie theaters anymore. There will be like that random, oh man, remember when people used to go to the movie theater before streaming, before 4K televisions were so damn cheap? I mean, look at 4K televisions nowadays. Now that you have things like OLED out that are, that give you the crispest image possible. Now that they're talking about 8K and all these other things going on, look at how cheap they are. You can get a 50-inch TV now for like $400. That's a 4K, and it's got decent specs to it. Beforehand, about 5-10 years ago, you couldn't do that. It was like they were so damn expensive. And so there's going to come a point where everyone's going to have the highest quality possible. Everyone's going to have the premium Netflix subscription or whatever subscription comes out on top, whether it's Disney Plus or something else. And you're going to start to realize, yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't need to go out to the theater anymore. and movie theater chains that can slow that down if they step up. But even more importantly, because this is really what it comes down to, movie theater chains can only do so much, but people are going to show up if there's a movie that they want to see on the big screen. And the only way that's going to happen is if Hollywood gets out of this business of making a reboot in Men in Black International that no one wanted, making a CGI fest that's focused more on the humans than on monsters, Monster Fest, as in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and stop going in the woke direction, as we see here with Late Night, and maybe then, the movie theater could at least survive a little bit longer. But what do you guys think? How long do you think the movie theater business has left, especially with the box office, again, having a 10% drop as it is nowadays? So again, ticket sales are now 10% lower than they were last year. That is pretty incredible when you look at it, because you have to understand that this is bottom line. Think about how go to any major studio and say, okay, now your overall earnings at the box office are now 10% lower than what they were before. Now, obviously, every company is going to have different earnings, and some people might have a much larger loss than others, but just overall, 10% loss. You have 10% less money than you did last year. That's not a small number. Again, that is not something just to smell, oh, well, I don't care about that. They have to make a change, but are they going to? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Bruce, my boy Bruce. He sent me a Swamp Thing Blu-ray and also sent me Arsenic and Old Lace on DVD. So thank you very much, Bruce. Huge shout out to you, good sir, for sending me those things. Really do appreciate it, and I cannot wait to watch them. Again, I'm so far behind on those things, but I'm just catching up on a lot of these other movies that I've missed thanks to the Fire Stick TV, which again is the reason why you should check out ExpressVPN, because ExpressVPN does a very good job, and I've had no problems while using it with my Fire Stick TV, at least to this point, allegedly. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, guys, if you like this video, smash the thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.